unpromisingly sunny skies. And I still have yet to build my my planned rain bike out of the cheap gravel bike. That's what that thing's gonna end up being. I have a feeling tonight is gonna be a very sad case of tombstone engineering when I get home soaking wet. On Monday of this week, I was climbing that hill on my boss's bike, wearing my office clothes. I don't really know what made me go that direction. Split the pants right down the seat. It turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day. This entire week, weather was calling for a bit of a cyclone, possibly a hurricane. No, blue skies, no problem. And it's days like today and the way that this worked out that really solidifies my procrastination and lack of planning. So this trail that I'm on right now, this is called the Shearwater Flyer. It's almost a usable trail. It's almost something that someone could use to commute to work. It sort of falls short by coming out on Pleasant Street maybe a little too early, where it's very, very busy. It should bring you closer into town. If anyone from Nova Scotia is listening and you want to know why more people from out of the Dartmouth Centre aren't using bike paths to get in, it's because they don't go in far enough. Actually, I think that kind of deserves its own video, so I'm going to leave that right where. But this trail's cool because it kind of goes through all the old refinery. You can see those old holding tanks for fuel. And then this is Autoport, where all of the cars actually come in from shipping from Europe. That's why they all have that white plastic on them. Okay, here's the thing. At work, I kind of have a little bit of a competition going on between me and another employee there. It kind of came up out of the blue as a way to motivate the other guy to want to ride to work a little more often, knowing that I'm a fairly avid bike rider and have this channel and you know, bikes is my life and I'm going to ride to work quite a bit. And that is, who can ride to work more often? At this point in time, I'm actually trailing behind. I'm 2 rides behind, and I have some catching up to do because his road bike, which oddly enough used to be mine, has fenders on it, and he doesn't mind getting soaking wet in the rain because the thing he has to change into is a little different than the office clothes I change into. So there's a bit of an advantage going on there in 2 ways. You know, one being not having vanity work against him, and he actually put fenders on his bike. And 2, his position allows him to change into something else because his clothes stay at work. It's entirely possible that I'm using this completely as an excuse to build this bike into something because I just want to do. But kind of first and foremost, before I even really get into this, I do need to make sure that this head tube area is feasible for me to build into a 1 1/8 threadless setup. So I gotta pull all this apart and pull the other bike apart to make sure that the headset that's in the other bike will fit in here so that I can continue on with this project and get rid of this. This is what makes the bike look lame, along with everything else, but this is the deal breaker. Bikes that have been torn apart and converted to single speed and in general have grease on threads come apart so quick and so nice. And I just know that from the looks of the fork on this being sort of bent back, that it's probably not going to give me the same sort of cooperation. The same point still remains here. The headset dictates whether or not this is a good idea. I'm thinking we're in business. Well, that actually went in better than I thought it was going to. I thought that would fight me maybe a little bit more. And I've got a feeling this is going to kind of work out really, really well. It's not really going to give me any troubles, although there's still this, which I'll get to. First, I want to strip off the rest of all of this kind of garbage that's just around here. The worst part of this is it's not going to have the clearance that the other frame had.
No need to worry about your pre-recorded music tapes being accidentally erased. It can't happen.
That's sort of bizarre. This didn't fight me at all. It's sort of only hitting me right now that this isn't an aluminum frame. This is steel. Steel is very in vogue right now. I'm going to do the half responsible thing here and spray, well, the bottom bracket area with degreaser and then spray it with the hose. And then I'm going to build it. I don't know that I'm going to spend a lot of time talking to the camera while I put this back together. I have a feeling my focus is going to shift from trying to shoot an interesting video to finishing this so we can all see it. And I kind of hope you don't mind that this probably will just become a time lapse of sorts.
Let's get scratching.
Chain tension's not terrible, but with that cog on it, it's going to drop the chain probably. And my whole plan with the other setup was to order a new cog for it anyway and get rid of. I think what I'll be able to do is get away with going one size up. Also, another thing that kind of popped up with this build and pretty much any build that you're going to want to try and take on at home, the seat post that goes in this bike is a 26.4. So I'm going to reuse this one and put a different saddle on it. Well, somewhat rather unfortunately, it's pretty well dark outside, so I can't really go outside to show you how this looks now. But I can kind of give you just like a rundown of where I'm at. Obviously, the steer tube, it needs to be cut to be flush. I'm sure the fit will work just fine, so I'll just chop it down. Chain tension will work for like a test ride, but for actual real world riding, it's not going to work. So I need to go onto that website and just check for the chainstay length of this, what my gear combinations can be, and well, purchase things accordingly. Somewhat of a bummer, tire size. Tire size is not nearly as generous on this frame as the other one was. However, the sizing is more where I want it to be. In fact, this might even be a little bit on the small side. And again, this was all done with tools that I have at home. No bike shop this time. Anyway, I'm bummed I didn't finish this. My whole goal was to put something together that was rideable and would have fenders on it so that when it decides to rain this week, although I've been lucky, I can still ride to work and be somewhat dry. All that really means is, instead of riding this with fenders on it, I'll continue to ride that without. Alright, I can't help but feel like this video is getting kind of long, so it's over.